Welcome to the Bite Size Podcast. I'm your host, Lorraine Michaels, former EMT and nursing assistant, now business owner and wild entrepreneur. I walked away from over 15 years in medicine to pursue my passion and my God-given talents. Now, I get the honor of helping other women discover their passions and purpose. If you're feeling stuck in life, unsure where to go or what to do, welcome. If you're exactly where you want to be, great, you're welcome here too. If you have faced any kind of hardship or setback, you have found a safe place here. In other words, no matter who you are, or what you've been through, or what you're going through, this is the space for you. On the Bite Size Podcast, we'll discuss life, business, and faith. There's something for everyone. So grab a cup of coffee and something to take notes with, because there will definitely be things you won't want to forget. I have a phenomenal episode waiting for you here. I am so excited for you to join me as I sit down and speak with Relle. She is a powerhouse of a woman that I met through Lindsay Schwartz's group. And I'll mention that later on in the podcast, but Relle is the most amazing woman. And she is a multi-passionate woman. That's why I absolutely love her so much, because we share that in common. But she's a faith-filled wife, mom, wild entrepreneur who loves fitness, and she is so excited to bring to the world her love of fitness. And if you are looking to change your relationship with food or health, or you just are needing to get into a better lifestyle, a healthy lifestyle, then Relle is the gal for you. So stay tuned, and I can't wait for you to dive into this episode. Relle, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to dive into all the things, fitness goals, business, all the things. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
For those of you joining, listening, or even watching, I met Relle through Lindsay Schwartz's program, the Six Figure School. Highly recommend it. If you've heard of it or haven't heard of it, go follow Lindsay Schwartz and Powerhouse Women. That community is awesome. It literally is a bunch of powerhouse women. I've met so many incredible women there, Relle being one of them, and I'm so excited to dive in. Relle, give us a little snapshot of what it is that you do. How do you show up in the world? Your powerhouse moment, as Lindsay says. How are you showing up? How are you making a difference?
So I just a little over a year ago became a certified fitness and nutrition coach through the Faster Way, which was never, ever on my radar to become a fitness and nutrition coach, even though wellness had always been a big part of my story. But I just had this knowing in my heart that I was meant to do more and to share more of my story. And I ended up being in this program about 3 years ago, just searching for some serious guidance and help, because I was struggling so much with symptoms of my autoimmune disorders and felt like I was so alone and nobody understood me. And I kept being passed from physician to physician. And I knew that if there wasn't a medication that could help me, that food was the answer. And I had always, lived what I thought to be a healthy lifestyle. I was always active with exercise and choosing, healthy foods. But what I found through this program was that I was never eating enough to support my bodily function, for one, but all the things that I had been doing almost my whole life. I mean, since I was 15, the restriction, the over-exercising, the cutting of carbs, avoiding high calorie foods, all of that stuff, it had taken such a toll on me physically and mentally. I mean, that's really where I was at when I finally decided to sign up for the program and decide that I was worth it to invest a little bit of money into myself to see if it could help me feel better. As time went on and I started implementing more and more of their strategies, I'm telling you, I found myself again. I had gotten to a point where I didn't know who I was anymore. And I was asking for forgiveness every single night, that because I was treating my blessings like burdens. And I was something that I had to try to switch for myself. I mean, constantly apologizing to my husband and my kids for snapping at them, and to just showing up as just this shell of myself. And I got to a point where I was like, I'm done being here, and I'm not coming back. And so I felt like it was important for me to share that with other women and to coach them through the program that brought me so much healing. And it was never about losing weight or fat loss for me. It truly was about how to feel like my most confident, healthy version, and to find, like, inadvertently through doing that, I feel like I've been able to step into this purpose that I didn't even see coming. I had always felt so much value in my job as a hygienist, but having these women go through my program and coaching them through it and getting the feedback from them of how their lives have changed, that's where it's at for me. That was
How
not
did
short.
you that That's okay. How did someone find you, or did you find it?
I found I had, you know, so I knew my like autoimmune disorders, that there were triggers that would cause those to be worse. And so and I knew there was, I don't know if this would have been like post COVID lockdown where there was just so much at home stuff happening. And I think that I had started following somebody for some home workouts. And that person had ended up becoming a coach. And I just related a lot to her, like, stage of life. And she started sharing more about the nutrition aspect of it. And so I kind of like started diving down deeper, rabbit holes about that. And I watched her for a really long time before I decided to finally sign up. I can't even remember what the thing was that got me, but it really just came down to, like, I had been following a few coaches, and finally I was like, this is it. This is the month I'm going to do it.
Yeah. So you joined because you were in a desperate place and you stuck around for how it changed you. It wasn't, like you said, it wasn't even the weight loss or the fitness of it. It was just what it did for you. That's
Right.
incredible. And I find that to be a common thread, right? With things that we find in our life that we stumble upon. We're not even looking for it, but then we end up finding like a solution to a problem that we weren't even really looking to solve.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I think, is such an incredible blessing how God like drops that in our lives. I don't know. I'm just kind of like how I've connected with you. Like we found each other in this group that it was so incredible. But then like through just the connection piece after the
Mm-hmm.
meetings or whatever, and then we've just made this connection and this bond that we connect on so many different levels. Talk to me about the community that you have with it,
Mm-hmm.
with the girls that you coach. Like how does
So
that help?
there's like communities within communities with communities, which is another reason why it just lights my fire, because I didn't know the connection was so important to me until I became part of the coaching communities. Not only is the coaching community where all the other coaches are connecting, and like we're all serving the same purpose, whereas we're trying to make a difference in these women's lives, and men. I mean, there's a men's program too. I just don't have as many male clients, obviously. So connecting with those women who are also like driven to grow their business, but also just make a legitimate impact in other women's lives, like that connection is amazing. So when we go to conference, like, of course it just levels up. It's very similar to like Powerhouse Women Conference, where you're just like lit on fire again.
Yeah.
Um, Creating my own community of clients and my membership, and being the person that they all look towards for guidance and humility. Honestly, like one of the most common things that I get is they're like, we just love how real you are with us, and that you share that you're human too, and that my nutrition and my fitness is not perfect all the time, and that's what we really focus on, is progress instead of perfection. And that you don't have to be perfect every single day. You don't have to nail, your macro targets, because we track macros as part of the program every single day. And you don't have to get that workout done every single day, but it's what you're doing most days that matter. And, I'll come to them in vulnerable times too, and just be like, listen, guys, like, I need you to pick me up here. And I need this community to really rally so that we can get through these next couple of hard weeks. Like right now, we're doing that through the holidays. We're doing like a 12-day glow up deal. And so many people needed that.
Mm.
because we would have, a lot of them would have just thrown in the towel and just given up for December and then had to start all the way over in January. But instead, we're all checking in every day on each other, and we're saying like, "Hey, I got my walk in today, or I did my water today." Like, we're giving the celebrations for the things that we did get done, and we're not focused on the 4 or 5 things that we didn't do that maybe we would have done 2 months ago when things weren't quite so crazy. And that's just been so cool to have women who believe in me and trust me as their leader,
Yeah.
and for them to tell other people about me too. Like, that's another level of like healing almost that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
I've never built something like this on my own before. And obviously I have a ton of help through the faster way, because they give you so many resources as a coach that it's just a total blessing. But that community aspect of it has been, I mean, kind of life changing for me, honestly, at this stage of my life.
Yeah. Yeah. So many women, like I was saying, that they join for one reason and then they find a million others to stay and grow. And it's a business opportunity also, correct?
Yes.
They can build their own business in it.
Yeah. Yeah. So clients can be what we call like ambassadors. So any of my clients can be an ambassador for me if they decide they want to send their sister or their mom or their friend, or all of their, if they have a following on social media, they can tell whoever about it, and then they make a commission for everybody they send to me as their coach, which has been like very, very huge for a lot of people who are ambassadors. And then of course there's the opportunity to become a coach like I did as well,
Yeah.
and start your own business that way. So there's a couple of different ways that you could have ways to monetize it as a client even, which is
That's
super
awesome.
cool.
Yeah. I love that. So we're in December right now. This will air January.
Mhm.
And you're going to be doing a new program. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'll start my next new client wellness reset will be on January 6th. So I'm really picky with how I say that. I've called it a new client experience for so long, but I've kind of tapped more into calling it a wellness reset, because it's not a challenge and it's not a boot camp. I don't want what I want people to take away from our first 6 weeks together is tangible, sustainable habits that they can apply to their real life forever, like that don't need to end. So I don't like to call it, oh, join me for this boot camp and we'll, whip you into shape for 6 weeks, because then people look forward to an end date, and then they,
Mm.
they drop all of those, habits that maybe they had picked up in something like that. Well, a lot of us used to be very into restriction mode where it's like, oh, I'm going to cut these calories for 4 weeks so I can get into that bikini and feel good. And it's not like that. So I call it a wellness reset, so we can kind of reset your mindset, reset your relationship with exercise, reset your relationship with food, reset your just your thought cycle around nutrition and fitness in general.
Yeah.
And we kind of just take it 1 week at a time, and I implement new strategies each week. So
Awesome. So it's not just nutrition and exercise. You kind of hit on all the key aspects in what it takes to not only have this transformation, but maintain it, so that it's not restrictive, but you're working on different mindsets and how you're viewing things, which was, I wish I would have found this years ago, like when I competed, because after I competed, I had a horrible relationship with food, even with fitness. I canceled my gym membership. I refused to go to the gym just because I hated it, because it was a punishment. And it was so restrictive, and I wrecked my body. I know I wrecked my body, wrecked my metabolism, and it took me a while to get back into it, and the whole mindset piece of it, because just everything was all jacked
right,
up.
yeah, that's
um,
who I was too.
so it's something that's really needed. I mean, the community, the mindset, like the habits, all the things. That's exciting. I can't wait to see where this is going to go and how this is going to keep unfolding and growing for you. What has been like your biggest, not transformation for you personally, but your transformation, like the biggest impact it has made on you as being a coach? What has that done for you?
Honestly, I think it's just given me a level of confidence that I've never had before, that I can do something that I've never seen done in my, as far as like my family and my close friends go. You know what I mean? I think my whole life growing up, I never felt like I was smart enough to do anything. And I mean, I didn't like, I never felt confident in my academics in high school or anything like that. It was more just like I do this to get by. And then so like when my mom's a nurse and my sister was going to pharmacy school and my other sister was in nursing school, I was like, well, I could never do that. So I had in my mind that couldn't do that. And then I did eventually become a dental hygienist and these things. But like this aspect of starting my own business and just really removing some limiting beliefs, I think has just been the biggest thing for me where, you know, I am growing and I do have women that are sticking around in this membership because there's an opportunity to move into membership after you do the 6 weeks. But people are coming to me, you know, even people that don't know me personally because they believe in me. And I think that's a huge deal for me is like, I'm kind of going down a path that I've never seen done before right in front of me and just figuring out as I go. And that's something I'm really proud of, that I've been able to work through those obstacles and get out of my comfort zone and connect with people, like doing 6-figure school. I mean, connecting with women like that, like 4 years ago, me who was struggling big time would have never, ever done that. I would have had anxiety over that for days and months, you know, like I could have never pushed myself to do that. So that's probably just been the biggest like growth aspect of it for me.
I love that. What about for your clients? What has been your
Some top wins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I love to brag on my clients. That's easy to talk about. So I have one gal who had a similar story as me. She was really fighting some hormone imbalance and autoimmune problems. And she came to me, you know, like again, not obese, tall and natural, like thin build, but she just was the biggest she'd ever been. She felt very frumpy. She had belly fat that she, you know, had never had her whole life. And she was swollen and her joints hurt and she was just in pain. But like when you look at her, you know, she looked healthy, like most people would die to have her body. She has worked so hard at overcoming this mindset with food that she had that was restrictive like mine and over exercising, and she's really dialed that back. But in her first 6 weeks, you know, she didn't feel like, you know, she was necessarily like seeing progress on the scale or anything. She felt so much better, like her joint pain was gone. She could see like her clothes were fitting differently. She only lost 6 pounds, but she lost like 15 inches or something crazy like that. And then she's like, it didn't hit me until I took my before and after photos. And her before and after photos, just two different bodies in just 6 weeks is crazy. And then since time has carried on, she's, I don't know, she's probably 8 months in the program and she's lost like 25 pounds, you know, back to her, you know, size and her jeans that she wanted before, all of that. And then she's got her hormones balanced and back into control. That was also with some help from her physician because she truly had some underlying issues going on. But because she's been able to improve her fitness and nutrition, she had some healing there. And then I had another lady that came to me earlier this summer, and she's always lived a healthy life as well, but she's been diabetic. She's type 2 diabetes. She's actually my oldest client. She's 72. And
Wow.
she's like, I don't want to be on my metformin anymore. And
Mm.
I'd really like to get off my blood pressure medication. I think you can help me get there. And so, you know, we got her customized macronutrient plan and she followed that. I'm not even going to say to a T because the girl still eats her cookies and she bakes and she, you know, she follows it and she doesn't like, but she doesn't go without, she doesn't restrict herself, you know?
Yeah.
And she followed the workout plan and everything. And 4 months into the program, she messaged me and she was just elated because her A1C was down and her doctor gave her the okay to go off of her metformin. And she was already down to the lowest dose of blood pressure medication and they gave her the okay to go ahead and get off of that. And she was like, we did it, we did it. And I was like, that that is why I do this because my family is just plagued with chronic disease and cancer and I'm not going there. I
Mm.
don't I don't want to go there. And I truly feel like the things that I'm putting in my body and doing for my body now are going to prevent me from having that in 25 years.
Yeah.
And that's for me it's about giving people a long quality life. Like
Yeah.
I want to teach you these habits that you can stick with that are realistic to do every single day during every season of life that don't have to be perfect, but they can significantly reduce your risk for chronic illness. And
Yeah.
that's like those wins are just the best wins for me.
Yeah, I love that. And so the workouts is that something that is just I don't want to say the same across the board, but kind of like a generalized, and then you as the individual can tailor it to your needs. You can go level up if you will, or level down if need be, and you can do it at home or in the gym.
Yes, they're at home or in the gym, and they're all trainer-led workouts. So there are workouts new every day that always have a person modifying. So if we need to do, if you lack range of motion, or you need a modification like for not getting on the floor, or you need a chair, or whichever, there's always a modification in that video. You can always level up by adding more weights. They'll give some more challenging moves sometimes as well. They're always 30 minutes or less, which I love. And
Yeah.
then on top of that, they also offer a low impact version of some of the weight training videos, which is cool. And then once you're a membership, there's a whole library that opens up. So like if you don't want to do, like for example, a lot of us do not enjoy Tabata, and they do Tabata every Tuesday. So sometimes I'll go to the library and I'll do a kettlebell workout, or I'll choose a different strength training workout for that day if I'm not feeling like doing the HIIT workout. They have cycle videos, they have walking meditations, there's guided running if you're training for a race, all of those different things in the library, which I think is so cool. And I'll tell you, our pro trainers are truly just the best, and they're eager to help you. You can send them a video of your form and they will give you feedback, and like
Wow,
personal feedback. It is so cool. So
that
cool.
is so cool. So what makes it different? Like your this business, your program, what makes it different than all the other things? Because I'll be honest, I did what's it called? Beachbody. I
Mhm.
did that little membership for a year or whatever.
Yeah.
And what makes yours different?
So the difference, I mean, and I'll kind of compare it to Beachbody. I don't know a ton about Beachbody. This is kind of the comparison that I've heard others speak of, but the pairing the nutrition with the workouts is huge. We try to do specific workouts on specific days for your macro cycle, but it's the tracking of macronutrients that makes all the difference. And it's not just, shakes and pills and eat this salad. It truly is about learning to create optimized energy for yourself. The intermittent fasting plays a huge, huge part of it. So adding the intermittent fasting and really like diving into autophagy, where you're getting your body to burn, be more in more fat burning zone and get into that level of cellular repair versus it's not just workout based. You know what I mean? Like that's the difference. And then I'll tell you, the community is a game changer too. The daily check-ins, the accountability factor that you have when you are doing this with other people in your start date, showing up for the calls and just tapping in and squeezing out all of the information and education that you can get out of it. That's what I think makes it different. And I'll tell you what truly made the difference for me personally compared to the restrictive, like over exercising lifestyles and before, was that I was able to implement it a little bit at a time and still see results without doing everything at once.
Oh,
So
that's good.
out of all those, out of those five fundamentals that we teach you, it's carb cycling, intermittent fasting, pairing the workouts with the macro cycle, customized macronutrient tracking, and then of course did I already say fasting? I can't think of
Yes.
my
Yeah.
anyway. My brain is not with me right now.
That's
But I started carb cycling,
okay.
so I didn't do all of those at once, and I even in the 6 weeks I teach them all in that first 6 weeks. But I really just focused on the nutrition the first 6 weeks and just really focus on hitting my macro targets. And then later I added the intermittent fasting. And then later I backed off of my daily running and just focused on their workouts and some walking. And then later I really honed in on the carb cycling. So I was still seeing results all of that time, but
Yeah.
mentally I wasn't in a place that I could do everything at once.
Yeah.
So I just did it at my own pace.
That's awesome. That's really good to know. I'm glad you said that because I feel like a lot of people their hesitancy of programs that offer so much, it's so robust. It feels so overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't want to speak for everyone, but I know with working with clients, sometimes by the time they come to you, they are so overwhelmed and overloaded with all the things that they see here, they've researched on their own, and they're just overwhelmed.
Right.
So being able to take it, in bite-sized pieces as they can, what do you call it? Like absorb
Implement.
it, learn it and do it. that makes all the difference in the world, because then you're able to see the results, and then you're able to find the thing that works for you and stick with it, right?
Right.
And then slowly
Absolutely.
kind of like implement other things, and then you realize, oh, that didn't work. That's not for me. Take
Right.
the best, leave the rest type of deal.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's awesome. I love that. What about, so like the community aspect of it? Is it if they join and you're their coach, then that's the community? Or is
Yes.
it like, okay.
Well, it's both, really. If I'm your coach, then you go into my like smaller VIP group where we've got our membership community, and I do a lot of like smaller, more intricate challenges within my own group. But the Faster Way as a whole has a VIP community like that you are a part of, obviously, just like being in it. And then they have their own like private page for all VIP members. Some people join that, some people don't, because some people get overwhelmed by being in a much larger group. I mean, I think there's like 60,000 active VIP members or something like that. It's wild. So, there's that part of it. And then all the programming is for like community wide VIP. So they provide the programming, of course. And then I'm just we're implementing it in our smaller community, just at a more like intimate level between just me and my
Your
clients here and there.
peeps, your VIP peeps. I love it. So this is starting, you're launching it January 6th.
Yep, that's my next start date. And so you actually get app access as soon as you join. So since I didn't run a December round, anybody who signs up, from now until then gets access early, and they can start doing like using the tracking features. I'm offering complimentary one-on-one coaching calls if they're signed up before Christmas, and then they have access to the workouts as well, obviously. So that's super cool to be able to utilize that for an extra few weeks. Not a lot of people get the opportunity, just because
Yeah.
usually I'm running around every month, but I didn't do one this month because Christmas.
Yeah. All the things.
It's a lot.
I love that. Okay. So we will make sure we have all of that in the show notes, how they can contact you.
Yes, of course.
Where's the best way to find you? Like what if they wanted like a little sampler to see like what it would be like working with you?
Yeah.
Where can they find you?
So they can find me. I'm most active on Instagram at be well with _Relle. And then Relle Dixon on Facebook. I do have a few guides that have some sample workouts and things like that in there. If people want to see like what the meals look like, because there is a whole meal guide provided that is optional to follow. It's just there for inspiration. So we have, meal guide options for people to check out. And then I have some sample workouts too. So yeah, I'd be happy to send that over if somebody's interested.
Amazing. I love that. I will definitely put that in the show notes. Relle, I'm so excited for you. Thank you so much for sharing this, what you're doing and how it's transformed your life. And I love how you're showing up and transforming other women's lives as well. You are a beautiful woman, and you have
Thank
made
you.
a gigantic impact on so many people, myself included. I'm thankful for you, and I'm thankful for what you're doing. And I can't wait for this to air and for more people to learn about Relle. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Wonderful. Guys, make sure to check out the show notes. We will have all of Relle's information in there, her program, how to contact her. As always, if this episode has made an impact on you, or you know someone that needs to hear it, please share it, pass it along, tag us, and we'd love to connect with you on the socials. Always remember, guys, you were divinely created for a divine purpose, and there was no mistake in you.